in the studio now is the commissioner, and I appreciate you coming in. It's not the best day to be out running around.
Well, it's not the worst. Not the greatest, but not the worst.
So you guys sent out, the commissioner is the commissioner for the City of Chicago Building Department.
That is correct, yes.
And we appreciate you coming in.
Well,
we haven't talked in a while, so I thought it was
No.
time to catch up.
Yeah, I know. I love coming here. Thank you for thinking of me.
Great. You guys sent out a notice about the heat. Do you guys handle that?
Yes, we do. We handle the heat in all the buildings. So all residential buildings are to have heat. And if they don't, we get a 311 call. And sometimes, if it's an emergency like seniors or children, it's more of a 911. And we try to get out there within 24 hours. And, the city of Chicago has a great response team for emergencies like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a couple emergencies this week like that where people just hit really hard times and we found family members for them. I don't think that people realize all the things that city people do. I know there's a lot of publicity going on right now about the city, but there's so many good people. I mean, there are people that really, are in foreclosure. They don't have the heat. They've lost contact with their family, and we find their family members. We get them to them. We bring them together. We find a place for them to go. Sometimes we even put them up in a hotel for the night until we get them to that family member. And there's a lot of people that care and work really hard. And so,
no, and that's a unique situation, I think, for Chicago area. Those two down in Florida aren't worried about that.
No. But
yes, we're having a cold snap at 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is vacation. No, 60, windy, cold, rainy.
Yeah.
So they're relaxing down there in Florida. They don't have to worry about this stuff. But up here, it's 4 below. We got a call from the western suburbs this morning that it's 12 below out there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cold.
It's pretty cold.
So and it's interesting that the building department handles that.
Right. Well, we have other agencies that we work with, but we have a close relationship with them. So when we encounter these situations, we have a system in place where we reach out and we gather together and we help.
Yeah.
And I think there's some really good stories there, and very grateful to the people that do that.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Okay, so I need to do a little sucking up right now.
Okay.
And I want to say that I used to dread going to the city of Chicago to pull a permit. There was nothing I hated more. I would rather go to the dentist than pull a permit at the city of Chicago. If anybody says I want to work in Chicago now, great, no problem. And everybody, the homeowners look at me and say, "Really?" I say, "Hey, you don't know what it used to be like, and it is a complete change." So my fear is, do you work at the pleasure of the mayor?
I do.
That terrifies me. So we need to start.
Don't be afraid.
Can we start a petition right now for whoever the new mayor is that you get to keep your position?
Oh, that's very kind of you. I think what's most important is that we've changed systems, and so we've improved our systems.
No.
They don't go with me; they go with the department. So
but
we've done a lot of functionality.
Someone spearheaded that. It wasn't the previous person that was in there.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the next mayor will want to continue the good work, whether it's with me or somebody else.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that nobody wants to go backwards.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's just. I'm just going to stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need the petition, I'm there. I'm ready to spearhead that petition.
You're very kind.
I want to make sure you get that.
Thank you.
And if you do lose your job, I've got plenty of places that I can refer you to that need your help.
Oh boy.
So and some of them aren't very far from where you work now.
Oh boy.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Do you mean walk across the street and help Cook County?
No, I didn't say that, Rich.
So what should we talk about?
Okay, so one of the things that last time we were here, we were talking about the PVC, CPVC.
Mm-hmm.
You had a pilot program for the CPVC piping.
Right.
And has that taken off, and how's that going?
That's going really, really well. We've had more than 330 people participate, and it's already saved nearly $9 million for building owners and small developers working on projects throughout the city. We did tweak it a little bit.
Okay.
We renewed it, but we tweaked it. Under the revised program, we will continue to accept applications for alternative drainage and vent pipe and pipe fittings that meet certain requirements. Requests for alternative water distribution pipe and pipe fittings will no longer be accepted.
Okay.
So we're just,
So
yeah.
what is go back to the drain, waste, and vent, and you said alternative. So obviously cast iron was the standard for a long time, and then we went to Schedule 40 PVC. What is there another alternative that you're talking about? Are you talking about
the same? It's whatever's allowed in the Illinois State Plumbing Code is
Right.
basically what it is. So we are going along with them for this.
And is that certain size buildings though, right?
Right. So for new construction, it's residential only, up to 4 stories. And then for buildings built before 2010, anything up to 4 stories.
And that makes a big difference.
It's made a huge difference. I mean, it's saved a lot of money.
Mhm.
And I mean, you all know that the cost of maintaining, whether it's your home or a high rise, is very, very expensive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maintaining buildings is really a very expensive endeavor. I mean, just think about in your own single family home, something you have a leak in your roof, you need tuck pointing. It's never cheap.
Right.
And you take that on some bigger levels and you want people to invest in the city. You want them to spend money. You want them to be here. You have to try to save money everywhere you can, of course, without compromising safety or professional work. But you have to always be looking for that balance.
Right. Right. And, Rich and I, we've worked in some older homes now that they're all over the place with the cast iron, where the cast iron's just rusted away. The PVC is not going to do that. So, there's fittings within the cast iron where the leading has come out. And so now you've got sewer gases that are leaking into the houses. We find that a lot. And that's never going to happen with a PVC. So, so we're good there.
Right. Well, the PVC, has always been allowed for single family homes and up to 3 stories, whether people used it or not, that was up to them.
Right.
But yeah, so this is a good thing. We continued it for 2019. It's very popular. I mean, $9 million is a lot of money, and we hope to keep saving people money, and they keep coming to Chicago.
Yeah. And we've got about a minute before we hit a break here, but one of the other things is, how many permits did you guys issue?
Handle pool.
We issued last year almost 48,000 building permits, but that's everything. That's our developer services, your high rises, standard plan review, your larger projects, and also your easy permit process for the smaller homes and so forth.
There's the happy dance right there. There's my happy dance. What's that called again?
It's easy permit.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the one you want right there. You need to just do a kitchen or a bathroom. Right. Something simple. You can go in there and knock it out.
Right.
And it takes care of it.
Yeah. And so hopefully in the future, we'll be able to even do those online, that you don't have to come downtown. We're working on that.
Yes.
But we just upgraded our regular project doc system, where people submit architectural plans for permits. So, anytime you have a new system, you got to work out the little hiccups that come along. So we're working out those bugs. And then once that's done, we really would like to get the easy permits online.
Yes.
Save people a trip coming downtown.
Right. Yeah.
So we love to see you, but
you need to take care of the parking. It gets expensive.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the commissioner, and stay tuned. There we go.
This is Mighty House. Mighty House will return.
Are we there? Okay, so we're still live on Facebook.
Okay.
Just warning you.
I won't try to make too many weird faces.
Right.
No, go ahead. That's what people watch for.
Great.
I'll tell you, yesterday I had to go to a village and drop off paperwork because they wanted some revisions. And I said, well, can we just email it to you? And one of them was my license. They just needed a copy of my electrical license. And they said, no, you have to bring it in. You can't, I couldn't scan it and email it to them. I had to go drop it off.
Wow.
So
most all of our stuff is done electronically everywhere, but the biggest hassle we have is the e-signature.
Yeah.
They want it signed and stamped or whatever, so that's always done with an e-signature. So
right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's a basic little kitchen. It's not like it's a major addition or anything like that. So they said, no, you have to bring it all down. Oh, okay, great. We'll do that.
Take a ride.
Hour and a half later, I was back in the office. So
wow.
Yeah. So there's that. There is that issue. Yes. The self-certification permit program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that one we'll talk about next then.
Sure. So the self-certification.
Wait, not yet.
Oh.
We're not on the air yet.
We're just on a break. Oh, we're only on Facebook.
Yeah, we're only on Facebook. So
this is so confusing.
I know.
Oh, it's not.
See, I work construction. I build things. I don't know if y'all realize the pressure a man like me's got on him.
This is Mighty House.
You can follow us on Facebook by looking for Mighty House Home Improvement Show, and our Twitter handle is @MightyHouse. You can give us a call on the Mr. Floor helpline. It's 877-711-5611, and you will have a chance to win your choice of Mr. Floor cleaning products. They're all non-toxic and environmentally safe, and you can learn more at Mr. Floor. And if you've got a question for the commissioner, you want to call her up and grill her. She's here. She's ready to go. She's got her notes all pulled out. She's ready for you. So 877-711-5611. You have any questions or anything like that for her? She's here for you. So one of the things we were talking about, and again, Judy Frydland from
Chicago Building Department.
Yeah, there you go. And we don't get stars in here like this.
Oh, come on. I'm not a star.
You are.
I'm just a worker. City worker.
Yeah, no.
You're a powerful woman in the city of Chicago.
Thank you.
There you go. Self-certification permit program. So you're going to allow contractors now to self-certify their projects when they mail them in, right? They can come in, they can self-certify all that?
Well, it's the architects that can submit their plans.
But you said the contractors.
Well, that we would like to move that. We'd like to move to that next. I know you got me on that the last time. I should have been ready for you. So we want to do that in the future. That's on our to-do list.
You know what? Come up with a little certification program. We got to go sit in a class, whatever. And then that way, and then you can, just like your licensing, you can monitor us. And as long as we're doing good, we get to keep self-certifying those projects. See, that's my plan.
Okay. Well, we're working on it.
That's not easy. That cannot be easy to do, though, because you're a licensed electrician. But what do you know about plumbing?
Hey. It's okay. But I can at least do the drawings and say that we're going to do it correctly. And then I can have my plumber sign off on it, right?
Well, the plumbers can pull their own, but we're working on that. We're going to work it out.
And it'll be simple stuff, just basic kitchens and bathrooms. I don't want to do an addition. You need drawings for all that kind of stuff,
right?
But a basic kitchen or a bathroom,
right?
That's easy. We can work on that.
We're working on it.
See, there you go, Rich. Leave me alone, buddy. I'm doing it. She comes in. I be nice to her, and then I give her a little twist in the side. Say, here, how about this? How about this? That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so the self-certification.
So like I said, until then, you get your own parking space, right?
Yes, exactly. The self-certification permit program, which is explain how that works now.
Sure.
Not in 6 months when we change things.
Right. So the self-certification program is a program for architects. They take a class and they get certified for, I think, 2 years. And what that means is they can upload their plans for certain projects. You can't do this on a high-rise, but it's for residential, business, mercantile, small assembly projects. And the architect takes full responsibility for code compliance. So they take this class, they're trained, and so they upload the plans, and the only review that they would need is a zoning review because they've self-certified everything else. And so those permits can be issued anywhere from 1 to 10 days, and then maybe longer if there's some zoning issues. But it goes very quickly. And so the architect actually certifies that the plans meet the code. Now, the way that this is checked and audited, of course, is that our inspectors still have to go out and do a rough inspection, so when the walls are open, and then a final when the walls are closed. So that's the auditing that goes on. But this program is not for anybody that wants to do anything super creative either. I mean, it's just for people who want to follow the code exactly as it is. If you need a variance or something like that, then you need to have it reviewed and signed off on. Otherwise, the inspectors aren't going to accept it because it doesn't follow the code. That's the whole process.
Right.
So sometimes people get in a little sticky situation. They certify something that really should have been reviewed because it's not strictly by the code. But it's not the end of the world. You can come in, you can get a revision, we'll have it reviewed, and we'll work it out. But it's better to follow the rules. It goes much faster, shockingly, when you follow the rules.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And as long as it's just playing a game. And as long as you know what the rules are to the game, you'll get through the game a lot faster than if you don't read the rules first. So, for those people that want to go down there and pull the permit, read the rules.
That's right.
You have it all online. It's easy to follow. So.
Right. Sometimes people come up to me and they said, "Oh, my permit's been in the system for 3 months." And I'm like, well, then something's wrong because that is not how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
And usually I find out they didn't upload something, basic. Or just one person just complained to me the other day and I went to look it up. They said, "Oh, it's been 4 or 5 months." I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Well, they only uploaded the site plans for the zoning review. They never even uploaded anything for buildings to review. So I didn't have anything to look at. Well, yeah. And so, sometimes there's a lack of communication maybe between the owner and the architect and so forth. So, so if you're not getting your permit in an expeditious manner, you should give us a call because something's off.
Right. It process rolls really smooth.
Right.
It's a pleasure now.
Well, thank you.
to go down there and pull a permit, which, like I said before, it was a nightmare. So, hey, Fresh Meat, we have somebody there on the phones.
We do.
You want to go to? Okay, let's go to Jeff. And hey, Jeff, you're on Mighty House. Thanks for hanging on. You have a question for Commissioner Frydland?
I do. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, first of all, congratulations on making the permit process easier because, as you were just saying, that first of all, I'm a home inspector, just so you know where I'm coming from. A lot of people used to say, well, the permit's stuck in the city and I can't get this done, but we'll get it done and everything else. And I kind of look at them now when I see stuff and say, no, that's not really true anymore. However, my question is passive radon systems. I keep getting contractors telling me that the city of Chicago doesn't require passive radon systems when it's a state law. How come it's not getting picked up in the system?
Is that a city code then that carries this, or does the city have to adopt the state
law, as far as I know? And the last time I just talked to 2 of the radon mitigators, and an email from Patrick Daniels to one of the mitigators that all municipalities are supposed to be picking that up.
Well, I think that I could be wrong, and I'll check on this, and I'll give you an email address we can follow up on. But I believe that that's more of an environmental issue that's handled by the Department of Health. But if you email me at dobcommissioner@cityofchicago.org, I will get information for you.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was told by another city inspector, and I said, how can it be a health when they don't look at the plan reviews, because it's got to be it's all new construction.
But
plan review would have to
look at it
and make sure it's in the original building plans.
Right. So that would be the environmental reviewers that we have. I'll have to check on that. That's not something that I've been asked about before. And so if you email me at dobcommissioner@cityofchicago.org, I will get the answer to your question, because yes, we do have an environmental review at our office. So you're correct on that. So I'll check on it.
And that's other municipalities are making us put them in even on additions and stuff. It's just a passive system we have to install no matter what, just for radon. So,
well, thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Problem.
All right.
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Since June. I've been fighting it since June of 2013.
Well, first time it's been brought to my attention. So thank you, and we will look into it for you.
All right. Thanks for the phone call, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
There we go. You want to leave it that way?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, so the radon thing is, and this is a good question, with the state codes are passed, then the city has to adopt them first? Is that
it's a little complicated. It really kind of depends on the subject, and the city of Chicago does have home rule, which means that we can enact our own. And sometimes we have more home rule power than other times. And so I have to check with the law department and with our attorneys in the building department, because it kind of varies discipline to discipline. And this is, I mean, really the first time that radon's been brought to my attention. So I will look at it.
Yeah.
And we'll study it.
And it's not in the state code. I think it follows because it's
part of IEMA, the emergency management, because it deals with radioactive substances.
Yeah. So it's not, it doesn't fall under, it falls under a weird
it doesn't
department.
fall under IDPH. It falls under IEMA.
Yeah.
Oh, so see, now I really am going to have to get some help. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to check it out because that's important. And I appreciate that being brought to my attention.
You know, the health effects from radon are
debatable.
Yeah, they're debatable, but in other parts of the city area, there are areas where it's really bad. So, so you have to, you do have to monitor it. All right. So then, okay, we talked about the enhancements of the online plan review system.
Right. So I'll give you some numbers though on self-cert. I think it's good because, you know, we've expanded it, and it's really very popular. And so in 2018, we issued 3,639 self-cert permits. And this is a 7% increase over last year and 17% increase over the average of the last 3 years. So it's very popular.
Yes. And I personally, I like it, you know, being able to I call the architect. That's the first thing. I make sure that they can self-certify and we get into the process. We go, it has streamlined the whole process.
Right. And the other thing that I want to remind you of too, and I think I talked about this the last time, is that a couple of years ago now, the mayor called me and he said on single family homes, he's like, you know, Jude, I want those permits out in less than 30 days. Those people in their homes, that's their big investment, and they want to update their kitchen, their bathrooms, do an addition. Let's get that done in 30 days or less. They're just as important or even more important than all the big developers because we want people to stay in the city and enjoy the city. And so we expedited that whole process. We worked hard on the self-cert and standard plan review. So unless you have a big zoning change, like you're adding some huge addition that's angering all your neighbors, then
that never happens.
No, never. So as long as you're within the confines of the zoning and building code and you don't need a lot of extra relief, we have been consistently getting those permits out in 30 days or less. And I think that's what you're feeling and seeing. And our homeowners assistance program. So if a homeowner comes in for a simple project, we will help them do the plans if they don't have somebody like you to help them. And so, so we want to be helpful.
Excellent. All right, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with the commissioner. And we appreciate your time there.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
It's fun.
Judy Frydland, we'll be back right after this.
This is Mighty House. Mighty House will return.
Lisa and I built your room.
But I don't like this clown.
I wouldn't take it down if I were you. It's a load-bearing poster.
It's Mighty House. Call Mighty House now at 877-711-5611 and get advice from the experts themselves.
This is Mighty House.
You can join us on Facebook Live right now, brought to you in part by Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11, Smart 265, Mr. Floor, and Mag Erad. You can follow us on Facebook by looking for Mighty House Home Improvement Show, and our Twitter handle is @MightyHouse. And you can give us a call on the Mr. Floor helpline. It's 877-711-5611, and you will have a chance to win your choice of Mr. Floor cleaning products. They're all non-toxic and environmentally safe, and you can learn more at MrFloor.com. There we go. And
I was sleeping.
Yeah. For those of you are keeping track here, we did lose Robbie, and we had her on for about an hour and a half, and we just found out that her data ran out, so she can no longer join us and broadcast from Florida. So hopefully we figure out how to get her back
until
on here
February, right? When she gets more data.
Yeah, February she'll get a new data package, and she'll be able to get back on. So
that's just silly.
Yeah, that's funny. So. We are joined here also with Judy Frydland from the City of Chicago Building Department, and we've been talking to her.
That's how you find it. It's a Department of Buildings.
Yeah, it's DOB, Chicago DOB.
If you don't
correct?
Google DOB, don't get there right.
Yeah, it is Department of Buildings. I like to say building department, but it is technically Department of Buildings.
Yeah. So you handle all of them.
All of them.
Can I go off book here for a second?
I guess it's your show.
Right. Although we're curious where you're going with that. But
yeah.
It's okay. Tiny homes. Have you guys done anything with tiny homes?
Yeah.
And
banned them.
Because there's I don't. It seems strange. Now you're going to take one lot. You could probably put 3 tiny homes on it real easy. But how do you break all that? I mean, it just seems like a nightmare to try and manage. Unless someone's just putting one tiny home on there, but then what stops them from just bringing in a double wide and plopping it in there?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that just seems like a total nightmare to me. And I don't know. I was just curious where you guys were on tiny homes.
Well, the city studied it a lot, different departments, zoning, buildings, planning. And we did have a request out for proposals a few months ago for people to come up with some designs. I'm not exactly sure where it is in the process right now. But, you're right. The issue is that you're supposed to have one main house on a lot. So then if you have a lot that has room for 3 little main houses, how do you do that? So you could do that with some zoning relief. You could go to city council and do that. Or what I've seen some people do is do like a townhome effect. Mm-hmm. So they'll do row houses, and then there's zoning provisions for that. So that's cute. You have a bunch of little tiny homes in a row. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people be very creative with them. So that is something that the city's looked at. And there is kind of a move in the country in general sometimes to reduce our belongings and our footprint and how we live. And so it's interesting, and it's nice to see people be creative.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are there any projects within the city limits now that have already been approved?
Not that I'm aware of. I've seen some prototypes, and I know that this request for proposals is out there, and that something should be coming along soon.
Yeah. No, that's just... Go ahead, Rick.
Down here, there's a community called Cape Coral. It's north of Fort Myers, and they've actually, they struggled with the same thing. But what they did is they had large plats of outlying land, not way out of town, but they took that bare land and they rezoned it for that use, and they set them up almost like gated communities where you don't really own the dirt. It's all done by the owners association, and they've actually done a really nice job with it, and I think that will work well, because that's part of the problem. People don't want to have a $600,000 house and then have a $30,000 tiny house next door.
Right.
So your neighborhoods are all messed up. So I think it really starts with zoning and putting in areas where it's the norm, not the freak.
Yeah. Well, and there's no different than all of a sudden you have, a bunch of basic row houses, the nice Chicago bungalows. And then all of a sudden right in the middle of that, boom, you've got this 4-story cinder block thing that just doesn't fit in the neighborhood anymore,
Right.
So that I can see where that could be an issue also.
Well, you want to keep the costs down, so you want to get land that's not expensive. And so we have vacant lots in the city of Chicago and that can be used for that. And so there's a lot of interesting and exciting ideas out there. I think that's cute, though, about the gated community. I'm going to look at that.
Yeah. So you could
Yeah, it's actually a really nice design, what they came up with the developer. And like I said, it's not in the downtown area, but it's not like they put it out in the farm fields. I mean, it's just another area of Cape Coral. So they did a nice job with it.
Huh, that's interesting. So, okay. It was just something that just popped into my head. Don't ask me what brought that up, but I figured we should ask because you're here. And I know that's, I think more and more
You'll think of it on the way home and go, oh.
Yeah, I should have asked her that. Dang it. So all right, cool. There's, let's see, we're, something about directed developer services.
Right. So direct developer services is the permitting process we use for the really big projects, the high rises. And that's been really good and streamlined. And we've also worked with the Department of Transportation to reduce the underground process. So when you're going to dig really deep for your foundation or your piles, you have to go through this process. And when I got to the building department, it could take 6 to 8 to 9 months. and now it takes a couple months.
Oh.
So people that do that kind of work are really, really happy. Yes.
Sure.
And so we've done things like that. And so with that process, we've taken ourselves out as the middleman, and we allow the developer to contract directly with one of our 9 approved vendors and go through the process. So for that, that's been great. And as you can see, we have a lot of cranes in the air.
Yeah.
We have an average about 60.
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah.
How many?
Well, we ended last year with 60 cranes throughout the year, and the year before that was 62. So those are both record-breaking years.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had anything like that before, ever, in our records that we've been keeping
Really?
on cranes. So that's really exciting, and they're still coming in. The big projects are still coming in, and we welcome them, of course. They bring people, and they bring taxes
Jobs.
and restaurants and jobs and fun and liveliness.
That's why we always ask that. I'll always ask about the cranes. And a good number of my friends up there are all union tradesmen, and that's how you know if you're going to have a job next year. If there's no cranes, you start looking around. You know what I mean? But when you see a lot of cranes, it's like, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
That's nice.
There's work out there if you see the cranes in the air. Yep.
Yes.
So.
Because there's a lot that goes with that. That's just one small part of a lot of work.
Sure. Right. And it makes it good for the city to have them up there. So
yes,
I don't understand how they stand, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the engineering. I always kind of wonder that too, whether they fall over. But.
Yeah, how you take this one little pole, you stick it up, I don't know, 1,500 feet, and it doesn't fall over. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. We talked
bolts.
Yeah, a lot of bolts. Something else is, let's see, the electrical code.
Electrical code, yes. We updated that in March of 2018. It took effect, and we are one of the first major cities to align with the 2017 National Electrical Code.
Ron, you should retest.
I know.
It advances.
They probably have GFIs in it now.
Well, I
tell her the story. Like when you took the test, it was like GFIs were only theoretical or whatever in the test, the old test.
Because a few years ago, I went and finally I just bit the bullet to go take the Chicago test. And I had to study for it, but I was studying for the 97 code. And I had to forget a bunch of stuff to be able to go take that test.
Oh boy.
And so that was difficult. Besides that, the proctor for the whole thing was sitting right in front of me for the entire test, making me even more nervous, but we won't go there. So it's good though that this is finally coming up to speed. Is there any? Are you having any classes or any programs to bring everybody up to speed to show where you guys are now with this stuff? Or
well, we had to retrain all our inspectors, which we did, and there are programs out there. I know Local 134 has them. There's some private schools in the suburbs. I don't have their names on me right now, but if you need to know them, email me and we'll get you the names of those schools. And they've been training. So we haven't, it's been remarkable to me how easy the transition was. Everybody was real concerned about the transition going from this older system to really a state-of-the-art system. And we were all pretty anxious about it. But I think what we did that helped a lot was that we had a phasing in period where you could choose either one. And so people had time to get used to it. Our inspectors had time to get used to it. And so that really helped a lot. And we learned a lot about implementation from that electrical code. Our inspectors had to go to Saturday classes, and they had to put in the work, but there were no hiccups. It was amazingly smooth.
And again, most of the contractors in the city, union electricians, or they believe in continuing education. So most of them were probably well versed in what the current code is nationally, versus what they were doing there. And I mean, like Ron, okay, the old code didn't say you had to put a GFI there, but you just still put GFIs in the bathrooms, right? You know what I mean? So it's just some of the stuff becomes common sense, I guess. So it's just catching up. So it's good though.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still get caught every once in a while doing stuff that wasn't code in the city of Chicago, but it is other places. So,
sure.
Most of the time,
but they don't fail you for exceeding the current code.
No, and we had updates to our code. It wasn't that ancient. I mean, maybe we didn't have a complete rewrite, but we did ask for safety mechanisms all along. This just streamlined it all into one. And we wanted to increase energy efficiency, improve safety requirements, of course, and actually it helped lower the cost for residences and businesses too, the electrical cost. So that's good. Back to the saving money.
Right.
Save money anywhere you can.
But it also, I think, didn't it do something with renewable energies? The codes for that, like, brought those up to speed also?
Right. So it's all there in one place, and it's very flexible, so that as the technology continues to improve, our code goes along with it, and we don't have to run in and make a change for every little new technology that pops up.
Right. Excellent. Okay. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to cover real quick? Because we're starting to run out of time.
Well, I just want to let you know that we are embarking on a huge project to modernize our building code across the board. We hope to introduce that in March.
Okay.
And so we are going to be aligning a little bit more with the national code. So the Chicago, it'll be probably roughly 50% Chicago, 50% national. So that's very exciting. And I'll come back just to talk about that one day.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Judy Frydland, she is the commissioner for the building department of the city of Chicago, and I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be back.
Mighty House. Mighty House will return.
But I'll come back. We can talk about the building code.
Excellent.
There's not going to be that many changes, though, for smaller. It's mostly bigger stuff.
Bigger stuff, yeah.
But if you want to talk about it,
that's
we
cool.
can.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me. It's fun as always.
Yeah, it's good to have you in here.
Thanks.
And at least that way I can always ask for my self-certification.
Yeah, you're not giving up. But the way that I kind of envision it, though, is how you come down and get it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be able just to upload that and then we just review it on a computer and then issue the permit? I don't even think you have to do a self-cert. It's your license. Don't you just come in with your license?
If it worked like your electrical, like I can sign up for and pull an electrical permit,
online. So that's how I want to do it. I want to be able to do it just the way you get your electrical online.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my plan.
Yeah, that's sweet because I can go on, I can pull the information, like if I'm doing a service change or something. Yeah. I just go on there, I fill it out, boom, it just pops right back and I'm done.
That's what I'd like to do for the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a basic kitchen, bathroom where you're not moving walls.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And we're getting closer and closer. So we got to work this thing out, but it's on our list and I think it's very doable.
Yeah.
So hope to have that for you.
Well, cool. Thank you.